No, we're still doing this. I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I don't even eat chocolate. Last time in going over the tenant to tenant migration script, we got through the data migration piece, which is probably the most important. What we're going to do now is hopefully get through the rest of this. We're going to set our post migration tasks. We're going to actually write the scripts to leave tenant A, and that might be it for today. If we don't get through the rest of this, I'm sure I'll talk about it in the outro. And I'm allergic to peanut butter, so Reese's goes out the window. Okay, so the next piece we're going to talk about today is removing the previous MDM enrollment artifacts. What does that mean? So if we look at our reference machine, which is enrolled in tenant A, let's close some of those. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the registry. Not on my host machine. Come on. That's amateur hour. Okay. So it's HK local machine. We're going to go to software, Microsoft, and then you're going to see enrollments. Now, of course, it's Microsoft, so things don't make sense. You have enrollment, the singular, and then you have enrollments, the plural. That's what we want. Now, what is all this? Unfortunately, we're not going to get into all of this, but we got to pick the right one. Well, how do you know which one is the right one? So what we do is we're going to scroll through them. And I always tell people, you'll know it when you see it. Did you see it? There we go. So the right one has basically a bunch of information. So this is our GUID that represents our enrollment, right? 571, 5505. Okay, so we'll kind of take note of that. We're going to need that value, but we don't need it right now. And you can see there's our UPN, Rick Jones at rubiksdev.com. The tenant ID should be in here somewhere. Yep, AAD tenant ID. So that's all stuff we need. If we wanted to verify that, we can. Let's see, 32F29. Let's head over here and verify that. rubiksdev.com. 32F297EE. See, there we go. So we know that we're connected to the right tenant. So what do we got to do here? So we got to delete this entry. The problem is, how are we going to know which one it is? So what we're doing is we're looking in this path, and we're getting all these child items, and we're going through them, looking for the discovery service. The discovery service full URL value, which is this guy. And if this is both present and equal to enrollment.manage.micro. Basically, this is Intune. See, these guys really don't have it, and if they were to have it, it could imply another MDM. So, but that's a good way to tell which one we're using. So the one that has that, if it's there and equal to this value, we are going to, we're basically going to get this GUID along with the path, right? And this is going to become our enroll ID. So let's go back for a moment and let's see if we can find that here. So I am going to, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set some variables to start with. Enrollment path, enrollments path equals HKLM. Just what we said, software, Microsoft, enrollments. Beautiful. There. So we don't know which one. Now, one thing that's important to do is we're gonna want this in a separate variable for when we concatenate the string later. Once we find the object and we're gonna want to glue it here, it's a lot easier if we have a separate one. So I generally call it ER path, and to be honest with you, it's just the same exact thing. You'll see. It's a little weird, but it always is easier with this. So just trust the process. Okay, so now we have our variables. We're really going to focus on this enrollments path one for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to say the enrollments are equal to get child item, and that's going to be in the enrollments path. Now we're going to, so what this gives me right here, so we can run this. So if I call enrollments, you can see I get all those GUIDs. And if I just want to do the name, so if I want to call enrollments, select object name, I'm just getting their full names here. So those are all the objects inside there. So what we want to do is we want to loop through those. So this is going to be a for each statement. We're going to say for each enrollment in enrollments, that should be capital just to match, I suppose. Enrollment in enrollments. What do we do? We're gonna set some variables here. So the object is equal to get item property, and that is a registry item. Enrollment. So this is the individual enrollment. All right. So we want get item property of the registry of that particular iteration, and we want to, so basically it references itself, and we want to define discovery, which we already said was the discovery the full URL. So that's going to be the object itself, and we are going to call discovery service full URL. Okay, so now we look for discovery. So if discovery in every item, right? If discovery is equal to, and we're gonna have to write this out, enrollment.manage.microsoft.com/enrollment server/discovery service. So if we match that, we're going to go ahead and set our enroll path to this one. Enroll path is going to be equal to, again, we're going to use the ER path now to construct this, and we can call the object child name. So PS child's name. And that should do it. We're not going to remove it right now. We're just going to call it and see if we find it. Let's clear the screen. Did we find something? We got it. So we're able to basically concatenate our current child name, because the whole object is the whole object. If I call the last object, it's the whole thing. We don't want that, right? So we want to concatenate the child with the full path. That'll again give us the whole enrollment path. So that should be the one. Enrollments. What happened? You know what? I left something off up there. Yeah, it's enrollments. My bad. Let's do that again. There we go. So we can take this whole path, and you should be able to pop this into the registry, and that'll be what you want. Let's take a look. So let's see. Let's go back. So if I take this whole thing, boom, and that's exactly the one we want to remove. So ultimately, we're going to remove it. So when we find it, we're going to remove it. Remove item, path, enroll path, and of course, let's do recurse. And that will get rid of that part in the registry. So we won't have that enrollment artifact. Okay, now that we checked that, we know it works. I added it to the main script. Not that I skipped something, but we do want to add a piece here. We want to get rid of the MDM cert that sits on the machine. There's 3 total pieces, right, that we need. We need to remove the MDM cert from tenant A, the registry, and then there's some tasks. So let me just hop over real quick here. So computer certificate. Yes, I want to manage my computer certificate. It's in personal. Yeah. So you see this cert right here? MDM Device CA. So this is what Intune issues to the device as a form of trust. If we look in the details, we can see that it is the issuer, Intune, subject key identifier. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. But basically, at the end of the day, we got to get rid of this because this is from the old one. Now, early iterations of the solution had us leaving this in place and not really touching it. But to be honest, that could cause hiccups down the road. So the easiest way to do this is we're going to get child item. Let me clear this down here. I find that distracting. I don't know about you. Get child item. Okay, and for our certs, you can just do this here, right? Local machine. You can always tab it out. That's personal, right? Okay, and now we're just going to do a where object. And this is where we're going to look up the issuer matches. And this is just the name, right? It's issued by Microsoft, Intune, MDM Device. Okay, so let's go grab that. There it is. Subject 43DA. Let's confirm that, 43DA. And all we're going to do is we're going to add a remove on that in the bulk script. So all we have to do here is get child item, cert, local machine, my where object issuer is a match for Microsoft Intune MDM Device CA, and then we pipe that out to remove item force, and that's it. Now we've gotten rid of the cert. Okay, the last thing we're going to get rid of is going to be the scheduled tasks. So let's open this up. So if we look at the task scheduler, right? If you go down to task scheduler, Microsoft, Windows, Enterprise Management, you're going to see something very interesting. You see that 5715505? And you tell me that looks familiar, and that's because I'm telling you, look at the GUID. That is the enrollment GUID. So remember I said we would need that ID before. So when a device is enrolled in Intune, there are a bunch of tasks associated with it that happen. And we're not going to go through all these, but the important thing to understand is that these were set from Tenant A. We don't want these here when we move to Tenant B. Again, that's just another remnant that we do not need. So how are we going to get rid of these, right? So what we're going to do is the first thing we have to do. Actually, here, let's make a comment here. Let's say remove previous MDM enrollment tasks in task scheduler. Okay. So we need that GUID. Now, how are we going to get the GUID? I'm going to call that the enroll ID. And we have that from up here. Remember the enroll path? So we know what that is. That's enroll path. And we just need to split off the last backdash thing. Backwards. Backslash. Couldn't think of the name for a second. That should do it. So let's actually validate that. So if we go back here, okay, so if we have our, let's comment that out. Let's just grab this. Okay, so if I have my enroll path, there we go. So my enroll ID is equal to enroll path. We're going to split to split at the backslash, now that we know the name. Okay, and -1. So our enroll ID is just the GUID. So that's how we capture it. So now that I have it, actually, let's keep this going here. So ID equals full path dot split. Okay. Great. We need the path of the task, so the task path, which, as we saw, was Microsoft Windows Enterprise Management. Microsoft Windows Enterprise Management, abbreviated. And it's that GUID, but we know the GUID, it's the enroll ID. That's our path. So now what we need to do is we need to get all those tasks. So we can say tasks equal get scheduled task path variable. Let's do it. Okay, so what are those tasks? Boom. You can see everything now. So we got PowerShell to iterate through all these. Now what we have to do is we have to destroy them. Okay, so in order to do that, our next step is going to say if the tasks.count is greater than 0, meaning while there are tasks. And we're going to do something. So let's look for a second. So if we look at tasks.count, there are 14 tasks. So while there are tasks, we will write host again for the logging, deleting tasks in folder, task path. Okay. For each task in tasks, what are we going to do for each one as we iterate through them? We're going to get its name, because I think the individual task isn't the name, it's that whole thing. So task name equals task.name. Yeah, so if I were to say tasks, yeah, so you see I have the path, the task name, the state, so we need the actual name, because that's all we want. That's all we need to actually get rid of it. It's actually going to be task name, I believe. Yeah, task name is what we want. Okay, we're going to let's clear this out real quick. We're going to unregister the scheduled task. Task name, we just got the task name. Confirm, no, we don't need to confirm. And then we're going to write host. Deleted task name. And that should do that for us. Now, if there are no more tasks in there, right, we can just do an else statement. And then we'll just write host. No tasks found in folder task path. And then after that, we can write host removed previous Intune enrollment tasks. Beautiful. So that'll take care of that. Let's review what we've done here. So in this section, we're removing the previous MDM enrollment artifacts. We get rid of the certificate, right? Looking under the computer certificates, personal, and we're looking for the issuer matching Microsoft Intune MDM Device CA. We're going through the registry and we're locating the enrollments entry that has the discovery service full URL for Intune. That'll give us our enrollment GUID. We're going to remove that registry entry, and having found the enrollment GUID, we can then go ahead and use that, because it's the same GUID, to find our task scheduler path, and we're going to go ahead and unregister all the associated tasks from being Intune managed in Tenant A. I guess I lied to you in the intro as far as getting through the rest of everything today. I'm tired now from that, but hopefully next time we'll get a little bit further. Yeah.
1, 2,